Hi you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emma. I will be guiding you through class today. This one is super fun. I can't wait to share it with you. We'll be doing some balancing and some funky transitions as always. Let's go ahead and jump right into things. We'll get started in a child's pose. You'll bring your knees out wide and your forehead down. I'm not going to cue any props throughout class, but you're welcome to use them. You might find blocks useful in some of the balancing poses. You can always use other things as blocks, like a water bottle or something of similar height. In this child's pose, you can choose to bring your knees closer, your feet wider, really any adjustments that feel right to you. And then start to move your breath around a little bit more. So as you inhale, imagine moving your breath all the way into your low belly. Any stuck or stagnant energy, moving that around, and exhale, pushing it out. Your breath is even and full when we're in these more relaxed postures, poses that aren't as physically demanding. I want you to try to maintain this connection, this even and full breath as we start to move and things become a little bit tougher. You might contract the back of your throat, breathe in and out through your nose, even. Ujjayi breath. If that doesn't feel good, feel free to exhale out of your mouth. Just keep your breath even in, even out. Walk your hands over to the right, enough so you feel a stretch along your left side. Breathing deeply into your left side lung and rib cage. Continue moving your breath around. And then walk your hands all the way over to the left. Enough so you feel a stretch in your right side body. Move the breath all the way from the right hip through the pinky finger. Walk your hands back through center. Let's bring it up to a tabletop. Shoulders over wrists for a few rounds of cat-cow. As you inhale, arch your back, tailbone flip up. Find the top of your breath and then exhale, round your spine, scoop your tailbone. Again, inhale, arch back, look up. Exhale, round, and press your palms through the mat. Really see if you can exaggerate these cat-cows. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Take two more just like that. Any stuck or stagnant energy from your abdomen, your back, feeling that move get broken up, releasing it on your exhales. Come back to neutral spine. Start to sink your hips off to the right. Think about crunching your left armpit towards your left knee or your left hip. So you should feel a nice stretch in your right side body. Inhale back through center. Sink your hips off to the left. And think about dropping your right armpit towards your right knee. Inhale back up center. Let's do that a few more times, kind of like a sideways cat-cow. Just going side to side, sinking those hips back and forward. You'll start to feel a little bit more space, a little bit more ease, not only in the front and back of your core, but also on the sides. Let's do one more each way. And then we'll meet back in a neutral tabletop. Slide your left hand to the center of your mat, reach your right arm up, make a fist, roll out your wrist. And thread your right arm all the way through. Thread the needle. Now there's lots of options here. You could take your left hand forward. You could half wrap your left arm. You could also extend your left leg out to the left. So there's plenty of options depending what feels good. Maybe you just want to rest right here and press the tops of your ankles down. Bump your hips a bit to the right for 3. Breathe behind the right shoulder, 2. And 1. Slide your left hand back, press down, and unwind that. Right arm reach, and right hand down center. Left arm stretch up. Make a fist, roll out your wrist. Left arm thread all the way through, palm up, shoulder, left side of the face down, right hand walk forward. I want to feel your low belly firm up. Your thigh bones are pressing back a little bit. Breathe with purpose. Slide your right hand back, press down, and unwind. Left arm reach, and left hand down. Walk it forward, puppy pose. I like to grab the front of the mat and put the forehead down to start. If grabbing the front of the mat doesn't feel good, skip that. Tops of your ankles press down. Here you can really start to feel your inner thighs spiral back. Feel your outer hips lift, tailbone flip up, kind of like you're arching your back in a cow pose. Then you might even bring your chin to the mat and feel your heart space melt towards the mat. Plug the shoulders back, down your spine. 3. Inside edges of the feet press. 2. And 1. Slide all the way forward onto your belly and slide your hands back underneath your shoulders. Bring your feet out a little bit wider. Press down into your hands and inhale, roll up, maybe only halfway towards like a cobra pose. If your shoulders are shrugged up by your ears, try to melt them back and down. Exhale, come right back down. With your breath again, inhale up. Maybe a little higher. Exhale, right back down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhale up. Maybe look off to the right. Exhale down. Inhale up. Maybe look off to the left. And exhale down. Tuck your toes to the mat. So toes tucked, squeeze your legs. Feel your kneecaps lift. Hug your elbows in like little grasshopper arms. Gentle tuck of your chin. You should feel like your spine is nice and flat. Firm your glutes, squeeze your lower abs. Press down, and we'll come up to a plank pose. Stack your shoulders over your wrists if they're not. And then just shift your weight a few times forwards and backwards. You'll start to feel a stretch into your wrists. Your hips are not going higher or lower. You're keeping your hips in one line. So you should start to feel this in your lower abdomen, like you're pumping your heels to the back of the room or whatever is behind you for 3, 2, and 1. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips to the sky. Feel free to pedal out your legs. Maybe you need to adjust your hands or your foot placement. Keep moving your breath around. Sometimes when you're upside down, it feels like you need to put more effort into the breath. Breathe a little bit deeper to get it all the way into those lower ribs, lower lungs. And the exhales might feel a little bit more natural. Lift both heels up, squeeze your calf muscles, and drop your heels off to the right. So your right toes will brush your left heel, or your left foot can step behind your right heel. Press into your palms. Still think about your chest going back towards your shins. Relax your neck for 3. Lengthen your waist, 2. And 1. Back through center on your toes, and heels go off to the left. Maybe right foot step behind. Outer hips lift, lengthen your arms, soften your jaw. Come back through center, nice and high on your toes. Tippy toe your feet. Very small steps, one at a time. With every step, the feet get a little bit wider until eventually you're in a forward fold at the front of your mat. Nice wide stance. Bend your knees generously. You can either grab your elbows, or you could just let your arms hang heavy as you find a gentle sway side to side. Start with a really, really nice bend in your knees, like more than you would think. That way you can start to lengthen out of your lower back, your lumbar spine. You'll still feel the stretch through the back of the legs, even with the knees bent. Then gradually, as your body wakes up or as you become more flexible, the legs can work towards straighter, but that's not necessarily the goal. The goal is flatter spine, crown of the head sinking. Feel some release between the shoulders, and then release your hands. Left hand down and left knee bend, reach your right arm up. Take some big circles with your right arm like you're doing a backstroke. Right arm can either stay up or half wrap behind the back. Press your left hand down as you peel your chest open to the right for 3. Even breaths, 2. And 1. Release, right hand down, right knee bend, left arm reach up. Big circles with that left arm like you're doing a backstroke. Left arm reach up or half wrap. Press your right hand down, expand across your collarbones, lean a bit to the right. And release. Left hand down. Walk your feet in so the big toes touch. On your inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, come all the way up to stand. Cactus your arms, roll out your shoulders a few times, and then curl it back. Weight to your heels, light toes, tailbone scoop, hip points lift. Inhale, reach your arms up. Bring your hands to your heart center and close your eyes. Press evenly through all 4 corners of your feet. Zip up your legs. Feel your pubic bone lift and your belly button pull back. Melt your shoulders away from your ears. Feel a gentle tuck of your chin as you lift the back of your skull. So nice active standing, paying attention to your body and your breath. Can you continue to move the breath with purpose, with intention? Gently release your arms, open your eyes. Samastitihi, Surya Namaskara A. Ekam, inhale, look up. Dve, exhale, fold. Trini, halfway lift, pull your shoulders back. Hands down, step back, right foot, then left foot to start. Chatwali Chaturanga. Inhale, you can take cobra or upward facing dog with your thighs on or off the mat. So just depending on your flexibility, take it nice and slow, and exhale. We'll meet back in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Spread your fingers out. Press your inner palms down. Feel space between your shoulders. Imagine hollowing out your armpits, knitting your ribs, and firming your thighs. Now, if your heels don't touch the mat, don't worry so much about that. Focus more on the hips lifting. However, if your heels do touch the mat, try to grow light in your toes. Active breathing in and out through your nose if possible for 2. And 1, lift your heels, look forward, step right foot, left foot, or jump to the front. Inhale, halfway, exhale, fold. Nava, rise all the way up, arms up, hands heart, and Samastitihi again. Inhale, arms up, exhale, fold, empty. Inhale, halfway, Ardha. Hands down, step back, left foot, right foot, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana or Cobra. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Maybe feeling a little bit more space, a little bit more ease each time you come back. Your heels might sink closer to the mat. Make sure you spin your heels out slightly, like you're hiding them behind your ankles. That will help your thigh bones firm back, your inner thighs go back, leading to internal hip rotation. Lift your heels up and look forward. Step left foot, right foot, or jump to the front. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana, hands to your heart, and Samastitihi. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold, dive. Inhale halfway. Palms down, step or jump back, Vinyasa. Follow your breath to the bottom and the top of each round. Continue to move your breath into areas that feel stuck, tight, or stagnant energy. You can gaze back at your feet or up towards your belly button, wherever you find least tension on your neck. Release between your eyes, behind your eyes, and in your jaw. Lift your heels, look forward, step or jump to the front. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way up, look up at your hands to your heart, and hands by your side. Last one, inhale, arms up, look up at your thumbs. Exhale, fold, empty. Inhale, halfway, gaze at your nose. Exhale, hands down, step or jump back, chaturanga, look forward. Inhale, cobra or up dog. You can look forward or up, maybe at your nose. Exhale, roll over your toes, downward facing dog. Gaze wherever feels best on your neck. Split your mat in half. Active arms, firm your thighs. Outer hips lift, tailbone lift. Firm your low belly. Some people say down dog is a resting pose. I completely disagree. Down dog should be very active. You're engaging most of your body. What's relaxed is your neck, your jaw, hopefully tension in your mind, but overall, your legs are active, your belly squeeze, arms active, breath active. Lift your heels, look forward, step or jump to the front. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands heart and hands side. We'll just take it back to down dog. So inhale, stretch your arms up, maybe lean back a bit. Exhale, fold in half. Halfway lift. Palm the mat, step or jump back, chaturanga. Your body should be feeling nice and warm after all of these sun salutations. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. Bring your feet out nice and wide, about the width of your mat, and then walk your hands back a few inches and place your thumbs to touch. So you're in a short, wide down dog. Take your right hand and reach for your left ankle. Imagine pulling yourself through. Bump your hips a bit to the right. Squeeze your thigh muscles. Lighter toes for 3, 2, 1. Switch. Right thumb meets left thumb. Left hand grab right ankle. Think about right hand sliding a piece of paper forward. Pull your torso through to the right. Bump your hips a bit to the left. Feel your thigh muscles hug the thigh bones. Last 2. 1 more. Left thumb meets right thumb. Step or jump your feet outside your hands for yogi squat. Toes out, maybe move around a little bit side to side. You can keep your hands on the mat. You could always sit on a block. You might use your elbows to press your knees outwards. Low back in, back of your skull lift. Use your right elbow, block your right knee, extend your left arm up. Notice the weight shifts to the right side here. Can you stamp your left heel down? Look up at your left hand. And switch. Left elbow, block left knee, right arm, reach up. Think one long arm, expand across your collarbones. Gaze up at your right thumb for 3, 2, and 1. Toes turn in slightly. Lift your hips up about halfway. Extend your arms forward. We have a tendency here to really arch the back and drop the belly. So pull your ribs up and in. Press your low back in. Plug your shoulders back. This should be pretty challenging. Look down at your mat. Feel the tension, the fire start to burn in your legs for 3, 2, 1. Forward fold with a bind. Clasp your hands behind your back. Squeeze your legs. Might feel nice to shake your head out or twist a little bit side to side. Release your hands to the mat. Walk your feet in about the width of your hips. On your inhale, lift up halfway. On your exhale, forward fold. Take a big step back with your left foot. Find a runner's lunge. Straighten into your right leg and flex your foot. Pull your toes back towards your face. Feel your right hip tug back and your left hip drive forward. Put your right toes on the mat and feel a stretch through the front of your ankle and your shin. Drop your left knee, find an Anjaneyasana B, low lunge. Reach both arms up. Your back toes can be tucked or untucked. I've been tucking my toes due to some knee pain, but in general, you actually want to untuck the back toes. Cactus your arms and curl back a bit. Think about doing a lat pull down. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Puff up your chest a bit. From here, feel your hip points lift, low belly squeeze, inhale. Exhale, half splits. Hands on the mat, or you might sweep your arms back and hover your chest. Pull your sternum forward and your shoulders back. Imagine again your right hip coming back and your left hip going forward. Rebend your right knee. Keep your left knee on the mat. Extend your right leg back behind you for three-leg table. Roll out your right ankle, wiggle your toes around. Keep your right leg still. Extend your left arm forward. Big inhale. Exhale, crunch, elbow, knee, and dome your back. Inhale, extend, reach. Exhale, crunch. One more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Right knee bend, sweep back for your foot. If you can't reach your foot, don't worry about it. If you've got the foot, kick right. Plug the right shoulder back, hug your outer hips in towards each other. Chin parallel with the mat for 3, 2. Gently release left hand and right toes to the mat. So right leg straight behind you. Hug your left knee up and into your chest. Dome your back and then hug your left heel up towards your butt. Press back to 3-leg down dog. Left leg up, bending the knee and stacking the hips. You might stay there. You could bend and straighten the leg or draw some big circles into the hip joint. Squeeze your right leg, your upper thigh. Relax your neck. Take a big inhale, square off your hips. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Straighten into your left leg and flex your foot. I like to use my fingertips, but you could also use blocks. Kind of like a mix between pyramid pose and half splits. Place your left toes on the mat, right hip again forward, left hip back. Can you feel your left side body lengthen a little bit? Drop your right knee, Anjaneyasana B, both arms reach up. Hips melt forward, but you kind of want to feel your hip points lift. So you'll feel your lower transverse abs. Cactus your arms and curl back. Shoulder blades draw together, left heel, nice and heavy. Lighter toes, kind of like you're trying to drag the mat back. Inhale. Exhale, half splits, hands on the mat or sweep your arms back. The belly button pulls back towards the tailbone to firm your belly. Gentle tuck of your chin so the back of the neck lengthens. If your hands are on the mat, it's easy to round the spine. Think sternum forward, broaden your collarbones. Rebend your left knee, keep your right knee on the mat. Extend your left leg back behind you for 3-leg table. Roll out your left ankle, wiggle your toes. And then extend your right arm forward, inhale. Exhale, crunch, elbow, knee. Again, inhale. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. And exhale, squeeze. Inhale, big reach. Left knee bend, sweep back for your foot. If you've got your foot, great. If not, also great. Kick a bit to the left. Feel your spine press in towards your heart and plug your left shoulder back for 3, 2. Gently release 1. Right hand and left toes to the mat. Hug your right knee into your chest. Dome your upper back and look between your thumbs. Press back to a 3-leg dog with your right leg up. Knee bend, hip stack, and then move that leg around. Bend, straighten, circle it out. Squeeze your left leg a lot. Big inhale, square off your hips. Exhale, step your right foot forward, followed by your left foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Reach both arms up. Plug your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, sweep your arms back and sit a little lower. Firm your triceps. You might lift your heels up, press your ankle bones forward. Squeeze your calf muscles. Start to drop your seat towards your heels. Wrap your arms around your shins for cannonball shape. So it's like a toe stand, but hugging the shins, making yourself up one nice tight ball of energy instead of in toe stand where you stand up straight. Hold here for 3, 2, hands down, heels down, hips up, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, palm the mat, step or jump back, Vinyasa. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. Take an inhale. Exhale, step your left foot forward, or right foot forward, I apologize, towards your right thumb. Inhale, warrior 1. Plug your right hip back and wrap your left hip around forward. Inhale. Exhale, pivot your right toes in, bend your left knee, and twist. Right hand down, left arm reach up. So we're in a side lunge twist. All 10 toes pointing towards the long edge of your mat. Shoulders stack and chest expand. Press into your feet, rise all the way up, star pose. Squeeze your legs, exhale to the back of your mat, warrior 2. Feel your hip points lift. Press the outer edge of your right foot down. Left knee a little bit to the left, and then inhale, reverse warrior. Reach your left arm up and back. Keep sinking into your left heel, lighter in your toes. Inhale. Exhale, side angle. Left elbow to the thigh. Your right arm can reach up or extend. Now, feel your left glute kind of scoop under your right, your tailbone drawing towards your right heel. Next inhale, come up through star pose. Exhale to the front of your mat, twisted lunge. Left hand down, so now you're in more of a runner's lunge, facing the front of your mat, but twisting. Left hand down, right arm reach up. Pay attention to your hips. Really easy here to let the right hip lift and the left hip drop. So think about doing the opposite. Puff up your left leg, sink your right hip. Look in front of your mat and bump your fingers forward, standing L. Lift your left leg up behind you. If you've got a block, you could use it here. I like a gentle bend in the standing leg. Feel your right side body lengthen. Flex your left foot, inhale. Exhale, Shiva squat. Tap your left knee to your right calf. You might keep your hands on the mat or bring them up to heart center. Hug your left heel towards your butt. Tuck your chin in towards your throat. Take a nice big step back with your left foot, so you're in a high lunge crescent warrior, and reach your arms up. Sink your hips a bit, just like we did in low lunge. Can you feel your hip points lift? A gentle tuck of your pelvis. Inhale. Exhale, twist to your right. Reach your right arm back and your left arm forward. Sink your right hip a bit and puff up your left leg. Place your right hand at your right hip. Drop your left knee to the mat. Inhale, reach your left arm up and curl back. Plug the left shoulder down. Take an inhale. Exhale, put your fingertips on the mat. Round your back for a moment like cat pose. You're in a low runner's lunge. Spin your left shin behind you and come to a modified side plank at the back of your mat. Left hand at the back of your mat, spin your right toes in so your right leg is nice and straight. Firm your glutes, knit your ribs, and lift your right leg up. Bend your right knee, stay there, or your right hand will reach back for your foot. If you've got your foot, you're kicking back. Gaze down a little easier, gaze up harder. This is very similar to full moon pose that we do standing. Great prep. Release that right foot if you've got it, and then walk your hands off the side of your mat. So you're in tabletop with your right leg extended. Shoulders over wrists. Tabletop with the right leg extended. Tuck your left toes. Now left toes tuck, start to pick your left knee up, step your left foot onto the mat and walk your hands back so you're in wide leg forward fold. Do your best to line your fingers up with your toe tips and then press down into your hands like chaturanga arms. Feel free to gently bend your knees as you roll your weight a little bit forward. Squeeze your belly and firm your thighs for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, halfway lift. Turn your left toes to point to the back of your mat so your feet are set up like warrior 2. Walk your hands 45 degrees to your left. So you're in a downward facing dog lunge. Your upper body is in a down dog shape, actively pressing. Your lower body is in a warrior 2. Look back at your right heel. Think about getting your left rib cage away from your thigh. Sink your hips a little bit. And then look towards the back of your mat. We'll go half moon pose. Great time for a block if you've got one. Left hand down, the right arm can reach up, or right hand to the hip. Squeeze your left leg. Make sure your left toes don't change directions. You want to keep the toes and the knee pointing to the back of the mat. Stay there or bend your right knee and reach back for your foot. This is basically what we just did on our knees, but now we're standing. A gentle bend in the standing leg might help, but really engage your thigh. Kicking back instead of up for full moon pose. 3, 2, and 1. Gently release your right foot if you've got it. Take a nice big step back and we'll go Skandasana at the front of the mat. Big bend in your right knee, flex your left toes. If Skandasana ever doesn't feel good, you can always take a side lunge. Big bend in your right knee, left toes turned in. If you're going Skandasana, you might like to open your arms like we did in yogi squat in the beginning. Chest expanding, and then shift some weight back towards that left side for 3, 2, 1. Use your hands, walk it towards the front of your mat. Back of your mat, I apologize. Walk it towards the back of your mat. Wiggle your left foot out a little bit so your stance is nice and wide. Reach both arms up to a high lunge crescent warrior. You're facing the back of the mat with the left foot forward in a high lunge. All right, cactus your arms here. You want to feel already a little back bend in your upper back. Start to stand on your left leg and hug your right heel towards your butt. So you want to feel your right hamstring. Stay here or right hand reach back for your foot. Stay here or start to kick back. I like a gentle bend in the standing leg. Stay here or reach your left arm forward. Just pay attention as you do that. The left shoulder tends to go forward. Try to suck the left shoulder back. Sternum forward, outer right hip drop. Keep the grip on the foot or release as you start to dive your left or both hands down to the mat for Chapasana. So you want to keep your hips square. This is not the same as full moon pose because the hips are square to the mat. Outer right hip drop. Great time for a block if you've got one. If that's not working out, put both hands on the mat for standing splits. Either way, you're balancing on your left leg for 3, 2, 1. Crisscross your right foot behind your left foot and then walk your hands to the left for a moment. Drop your head. Completely relax your neck. Walk your hands back through center. Take a nice big step back with your right foot. Drop your knee and find a half or full splits. I personally only like to do half splits or maybe something in between. If full splits is part of your practice, we've got 5 breaths here. You'll flex your front toes and point your back toes. Try to avoid rounding your spine. You want to feel sensation but not pain. Can you imagine moving your breath into those areas of sensation? Maybe the tightness, the tension, the resistance. When you're ready, pigeon pose on that left side. Bend your left knee. Your right leg stays long behind you. You can always take a different variation of pigeon pose, whether you'd like to use blocks or come onto your seat. Again, you should feel sensation but not pain in this pose. Move your breath into those areas that feel a little bit crunchy, tight, angry, or frustrated. Few more breaths. Slowly start to walk your hands back under your shoulders. Roll onto your left hip. You want to keep your right leg extended, but you're going to face your right leg. So you're facing the top left corner of your mat, but the right leg is extended. Bottom of your left foot to your inner thigh. Reach your arms up and fold over your right leg. Janu Shirshasana. Drop your left armpit a little bit. You want to feel like you're twisting a bit over your right leg. Pull your belly button back and squeeze your right thigh. 3, 2, 1. Release that grip. Place your left hand outside your left hip. Start to roll onto your left shin for stargazer pose. Your right leg is straight, hips going forward. Now you might stay here and enjoy this stretch, or you might decide to kick your left foot out for fallen triangle for 3. Last pose this side, 2. And 1. Right hand down, step your left foot back, chaturanga. You're facing the back of your mat. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath. Audible sigh. We'll do all of that on the left side. Inhale. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Find your Virabhadrasana 1. Reach your arms up. Square your hips so your right hip wraps around, your left hip tugs back. Plug your shoulders down your spine. Inhale. Exhale to the front of your mat. Bend your right knee, left hand down. All 10 toes are pointing to the long edge of the mat. Stack your shoulders. You still want to think about your spine being neutral, so tailbone going back, crown of the head going forward. Press into your feet and rise to star pose. Big reach. Exhale, warrior 2 to the front. Hip points lift, lighter toes. Can you sink your right hip a little bit and then flip your palm in reverse? Exhale, side angle, pause there. Lighter toes, your top arm can reach or extend. Outer edge, left foot nice and heavy. Imagine you're trying to lift the arch. Pull your ribs in if you're arching your back. Inhale, come all the way up through star pose. Exhale, around to the back. Right hand down, left arm reach up. So you're in a twisted runner's lunge. Pay attention to your hips. Can you sink your left hip crease? Puff up your right leg. So pressing the back of the knee up, that in turn will lift your hip. Look forward and bump your hands forward to standing L. Focus more on your right leg being straight than your left. Left hip comes back to lengthen the side of your waist. Tap your right knee to your left calf, Shiva squat. You can keep your hands on the mat for stability or bring your hands to heart center. Load the weight in your left leg. Take a nice big step back with your right foot, land on your toes. Reach your arms up. Feel your hip points lift a bit, so you want to feel your lower abs. Inhale. Exhale, twist to your left. Left arm reach back, sink your left hip. So a lot of similar cues, similar ideas in this sequence. Hips nice and even. Left hand to your waist. Drop your right knee and reach your right arm up. Lean back a little bit as you plug the right shoulder back into the socket. Inhale. Exhale, fingertips on the mat. Round your back for a moment. So you're in a low runner's lunge. Spin your right shin behind you. Right hand at the front of your mat. Big sweep, left arm up and over. Modified side plank. Make sure you spin your left toes in like warrior 2. Lift your left leg up and either stay there or bend your knee and grab your foot. You're trying to kick back. You can look down or look up. Just make sure it feels okay on your neck. Pull your belly button back. and release your left foot. Walk your hands off the mats so your shoulders are over your wrists. You're in a tabletop with the left leg extended. Tabletop with the left leg out. Right toes tucked, hover your right knee, and then step your right foot onto the mat. You might grab your big toes or your feet this time around. Prasarita Padottanasana. Shoulders up away from ears. You'll feel your spine almost lengthen as you do that, like your head is getting heavier. Imagine lifting the inner arches of your feet. Feel your kneecaps lift, squeeze your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Turn your right toes to point to the front of your mat and walk your hands 45 degrees to your right. Downward dog lunge. Look back at your left heel and then try to get your right rib cage away from your thigh. Keep sinking into your right hip. Half moon pose. Your right toes are not changing direction at all. The right hand will go about a foot diagonal and open up to Ardha Chandrasana. Pull your ribs in, squeeze your right thigh. So squeezing the right thigh is going to help keep the knee and the foot in the same direction. Also activate your left leg. You can either stay there or bend that left knee and reach back for the foot. Full moon pose. You're not kicking up. So this is an open hip posture. When we do sugar cane pose, that's still a closed hip posture. To me, this one's a little bit easier. Everyone's different. Gently release the foot if you've got it. Take a nice big step back to Skandasana. Big bend in your left knee and flex your right toes. Again, you might like to open your arms. Left elbow, block the left shin, reach your right arm up. And then start to bump your left hip a little bit to the right, almost like you're trying to press your right heel onto the mat and even out your weight for 3, 2, and 1. Walk it towards the front of your mat. Frame your right foot, face the front of your mat. You might need to use your hands. Wiggle your right foot a bit to the right and then reach both arms up to a crescent warrior. Both arms up. Hip points lift, gentle tuck, cactus your arms. Feel the back bend in your upper back already. Stand up on your right leg and hug your left heel towards your butt. Squeeze your hamstring. Stay here or reach back for your foot with your left hand. Stay here or start to kick. I like a gentle bend in the standing leg. Chest forward, shoulders back. Maybe the right arm reach, but then you really want to focus on plugging the right shoulder back. Feel your outer left hip drop. That's how you stay square to the mat. One or both hands might start to dive down. So the challenging part here is keeping your hips square. Outer left hip drop. It's a lot on that right hamstring. Great time for a block if you've got one. At any point, feel free to release both hands to the mat for standing splits. Step your left foot behind your right foot for a moment. Walk your hands over to the right. Feel some relief in that right leg. Walk your hands back through center. Take a step back and drop your knee. Find a half or full splits or maybe something in between. Avoid rounding your back here. Wherever you are, think a nice straight spine. Feel the tension, the resistance to the pose. Can you lean in, breathe into that? Soften with your exhales. If you're enjoying where you are, feel free to stay for a few breaths. Otherwise, make your way to pigeon when you're ready. Your left leg long behind you, forearms down. Feel free to grab some props. Feel free to modify. Just make sure your back leg is top down. So the top of the left foot, you're not rolling onto the inner edge of the leg and the toes. A lot of people I see roll onto this right hip and then they kind of rotate this left leg so they're not really on the top of the leg. You just want to make sure your hips are square to the mat. Slowly start to walk your hands back under your shoulders. Roll onto your right hip and turn to face your left leg. So left leg stays straight towards the back corner. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold over your left leg, Janu Shirshasana. Right armpit drop a bit. Squeeze your left leg. So still a nice active pose. You can think about pressing the bottom of the foot into the inner thigh and vice versa. Inhale yourself back up, right hand outside right hip. Roll onto your right shin for either stargazer pose, or you can press your right hand and your left foot down a lot and kick it out to fallen triangle for 3, 2, 1. Left hand down, step back, chaturanga, last one. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your heels and look forward. Step or jump through to a seated position. We'll extend the legs forward and actually lie right onto your back. So we're actually meeting on our backs. Now you can put your feet on the mat. Let's all put our feet on the mat, arms by our sides. Scoop your tailbone. You want to feel your low back press down. Lift your hips up, bridge pose. If you'd like to take supported bridge, you can slide a block underneath your lower back. And then once you do that, you could even walk your feet forward so you feel a little bit more stretch through the tops of the thighs and the hip flexors. Everyone else, stay up for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower down. Back bend number 2 of 3. Lift your hips up, stay there or bind. If you're ready for upward bow, of course you can go for it. Imagine squeezing a block between your knees. Feel a heaviness through your heels and a little press through the balls of your feet. Nice and light in your toes. Release your bind if you've got it and lower your hips down. Take a breath. Back bend 3 of 3. Bridge with a bind, or upward bow. For upward bow, hands beside your head, fingers point towards your shoulders. If you haven't tried this before, I would definitely recommend listening first and maybe finding a teacher who can instruct you and help you in person. Scoop your tailbone, lift your hips up. From there, you might like to press into your hands and come just onto the top of your head. Now, if you feel stable enough, press into your hands, press your chest towards the space behind you. Relax your neck, and again, make sure your toes are turned forward or even a little bit in, but not out. As you do that, you'll feel your inner thighs magnetize towards each other. 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower yourself down, tuck your chin in first, hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit side to side. Grab behind your hamstrings, rock up and down your spine 3 or 4 times. Once you come up to a seat, we'll open it up wide legs to the left. So extend your left leg back or whichever way so you can face the screen. Flex your feet. We'll take a side stretch first and then a fold. Reach your right hand towards your right foot. Extend your left arm up and over. If that's going well, you can try to drop your right shoulder inside. I like the right arm reaching across towards the left waist and the left arm up and over. Feel a lean back over your right thigh as you try to spiral your chest up for 3, 2, 1. Back up center, switch left hand towards left foot, right arm up and over. And then if you feel like you have the space, you can dive shoulder inside. I like the left arm in front, reaching for the right waist, right arm up and over. Flex your feet, squeeze your left oblique for 3. Try to lean back as you look up at the ceiling. 2, 1. Inhale, back up center. Keep your feet flexed and walk your hands forward. Now, if this pose is uncomfortable, great. If it's painful, you'll take a Baddha Konasana, butterfly bound angle instead. Flex your feet, keep the toes pulling back towards your face. Squeeze your glute muscles together. Do your best to keep your back flat for as long as you can. 3. Personally, I start to feel shaking in the legs. 2. 1. Walk your hands back towards you. Sweep your legs to face the front of your mat, and then again, lay all the way down onto your back. This time, we'll go legs up the wall or shoulder stand. Feel free to grab a block and place that underneath you, or use your hands. If you're close to a wall, you can extend your legs up the wall, or just go waterfall pose, lift your legs. Look up at your feet, press the back of your skull down, firm your glutes. You can stay there or take your legs overhead to plow pose. Now, I personally like to grab the outside edges of the mat and plow instead of making a bind, but if you want to make a bind, go for it. Press the back of your skull down, and you'll feel a little bit more space to breathe, a little bit more space in your neck, hopefully less claustrophobic. Stay there or ear pressure pose. Bend your knees, hug your temples. Hips lifting, rolling the weight towards your feet. 3. 2. From wherever you are, slowly start to lower yourself down 1 vertebrae at a time. Fingers under your butt for fish pose, Matsyasana. Forearms down, puff up your chest. Extend your legs, point your toes. Drop your head back. Feel a stretch through your throat. Broaden across your collarbones. You might take a lion's breath in. Open mouth. Slowly tuck your chin in, remove your arms, lower yourself towards the mat. You might like to take a happy baby before we close out, or maybe a supine twist. I'll go happy baby, but if you prefer to take a twist, you can do one or both of these. Just do something to smooth out your lower back, any residual tension, tightness that feels left over. Where do you need to go to release that? And then when you're ready, start to release whatever grip you've got and extend your legs towards the front corners of your mat. Make any adjustments you need so your body can be more at peace. Move your breath into those areas that might still have some tension or tightness. And release that with your next exhale. Give yourself some permission, some space to let go, explore the depths of your mind, and just like when we find tension in the body, breathing into that loving kindness, same thing in your mind. As things come up, you feel tension in your thoughts or resistance. Observe that, breathe into it, and let it go. We'll be here for a few minutes. Take rest and enjoy. Slowly start to become aware of where you are, become aware of your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes when you're ready. Stretch your arms up over your head. And then hug your knees in. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Just like the hug you'd give to a friend, just like the thank you you'd give to a friend for showing up for something important, maybe a birthday or an exciting event in your life. Give yourself a nice thank you for showing up on your mat this morning, a genuine hug to yourself. And then roll onto your right or left side, find a fetal position. Gradually make your way up to a comfortable seat. Your eyes will be closed or soft downward gaze. Feel the stillness, the peace, the calm within, and float your hands to your heart center. Take a nice full breath and an audible sigh. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me, for sharing your peace and your energy. Namaste. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being part of my YouTube channel, for being part of my journey, and for choosing to practice with me. I know there's so many choices of yoga to do online and in person, so I really want to say thank you for being here and choosing my videos. If you like my style, make sure to hit the subscribe button, share it with your family and friends who you think might like this as well. That's the best way to support my channel. I so appreciate you being here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you next week.